File number 320, page 47, line 14. Jasmine Crockett wasn't asking questions. She began reading FBI notes out loud in front of the camera, and what was written in those notes shocked the entire room. Jeffrey Epstein introduced Donald Trump to a young girl. Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her. Trump spoke with her for about 25 minutes. When Epstein asked how it went, Trump, I am quoting from the FBI file, said, "This is a good girl." Pam Bondi sat there in silence because Crockett didn't ask, "Did this happen?" She specified it with file numbers, page numbers, and line numbers from the FBI's own documents, and Bondi had nothing in her hands. Watch this video until the end because Crockett did something no one has ever done before. She didn't fall for their game. She didn't ask questions. She just read the documents page by page. And what these files say about Trump is of an incriminating nature. If you are new, subscribe now and click the bell icon because this Congresswoman changed the entire hearing. House Judiciary Committee, Monday afternoon, February 10th, 2026, Bondi's sixth major hearing. Russian Massey had bypassed Jayapal. His script was ready. Deflect, delay, deny. But Jasmine.
House Judiciary
Crockett, a first-term representative from Texas, a former public defender and trial lawyer, came with a different plan. No questions, just facts. Crockett sat at the committee table. There were no notes in front of her, just a tablet. On that tablet were thousands of FBI files, Epstein investigation documents, and Trump's name appeared in every single one of them. Crockett, in her Texas accent, calmly but sharply began, "Attorney General Bondi," she said. "Today I'm going to do something different." Bondi raised her head. "Different? What did that mean?" "Usually, we ask you questions. You give evasive answers. You say, 'I can't comment on ongoing investigations.' You say, 'That's classified information.' You waste our time." Crockett smiled. Not friendly, dangerous. "So today I'm not asking questions. I'm telling facts. Facts from the FBI. Files that your department has already released. They are public. No confidentiality issue." She turned to her tablet. "And I will start with a simple question. Not to you, but to America. Is raping children wrong?" The room grew tense. "Yes or no? Is raping children wrong?" She paused. "The answer is definitely yes. Raping children is wrong. I think we all agree on that." Bondi nodded carefully. Where was this going? "Good," Crockett said. "So if someone has raped children, helped someone rape someone, or knew someone was raping children and did nothing, that person should be prosecuted." "Correct." Bondi began to speak. "Representative, the Department of Justice investigates all credible cases." "I'm not asking you," Crockett interrupted. "I'm stating a fact. Child rapists must be questioned. Accomplices must be questioned. Those who enable them must be questioned." She looked at her tablet. "Now let me tell you about some files released by your department. Files with certain numbers. File number 209-P89, the main file of the Epstein investigation. In these files released in 3 stages in December 2025, January 2026, and February 2026, there are references to Donald Trump in all 3 releases. Do you want to know how many there are?" Without waiting for an answer, she said that in 5,000 files, there were more than 38,000 references to Trump, Melania Trump, or Mar-a-Lago. The room practically exploded. Gasps, whispers, reporters frantically typing on keyboards. 38,000, Crockett repeated. Not 38, not 380. 38,000 references. Bondi tried to interject. "Representative, the number of references cannot show this." Crockett calmly said, "I'm reclaiming my time. I didn't ask you anything. I'm telling facts." She went back to her tablet. "Let me give you some concrete examples because the American people deserve concrete information. File 320, page 47, line 14, Notes from an FBI investigator's interview with victim Jane Doe, 17. Date, March 8, 2019. Crockett read the following. The victim states that around June 2003, Jeffrey Epstein brought her to Mar-a-Lago. Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to the owner, Donald Trump. Trump spoke with the victim in a private sitting room for about 25 minutes. After the meeting, Epstein asked Trump, "How did she feel?" He replied, "This is a good one." The silence was deafening. Crockett looked up. File 320, page 47, line 14. This is an FBI report taken from a victim interview. Trump described a human trafficking victim as a good one. His words in the FBI file. Bondi's face had turned bone white. If you are still watching, click the like button because Crockett will read more file numbers and each one is worse than the last. The algorithm needs to see this. Share it everywhere. Crockett continued. File 473, page 89. Interview with Mar-a-Lago employee Ricardo Alvarez, dated April 2019. The employee says he saw Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago about 15 to 20 times between 2000 and 2005. Epstein generally arrived with 2 or 3 young women. The employee observed Donald Trump greeting these girls many times. The employee says the girls look like adolescents, aged 14 to 17. She turned to page 134 of file number 57. Interview with pilot David Rogers, private jet passenger list. The flight log shows Donald Trump was a passenger on Epstein's jet. Route from Palm Beach to New York. Date February 2001. The other passengers were Ghislaine Maxwell and 3 unidentified women listed only as G1, G2, G3. Crockett paused. G1, G2, G3. Not names, numbers. This is how Epstein labeled human trafficking victims in flight manifests, and Trump flew with them. Bondi tried to defend. Representative, being on a plane doesn't mean... I'm reclaiming my time. Crockett's voice was sharp. Did I ask you a question? No. I'm reading FBI files. Your files. She continued reading. File 612, page 203, phone records analysis. Subpoenaed phone call records show there were 73 calls between Donald Trump's personal cell phone and Jeffrey Epstein's cell phone. Date range, January 2002 to September 2005. Average call duration, 8 minutes. 73 calls. Not 1, not 2, 73. File 689, page 178. Interview with victim Jane Doe, 24. Crockett's voice grew even lower, more serious. The victim states that in July 2004, Epstein told her she needed to make a delivery to Mar-a-Lago. The victim was taken to Mar-a-Lago. Epstein left the victim in a guest room and said, "Someone important wants to meet you." The victim waited for about 40 minutes. A man entered the room. The victim did not know who the man was at the time. The man spoke with the victim for about 15 minutes about modeling. Then the man left. The victim later identified the man as Donald Trump in a photo identification. The room was completely silent. File 689. Crockett repeated. The victim was taken to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump for 15 minutes about modeling. She looked at Bondi. Attorney General, is this normal? Does this seem normal to you? Bondi did not answer. Crockett continued. File 7001, page 245, interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, post-conviction cooperation attempt. When asked about Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein, Maxwell stated they were very close in the early 2000s. Jeffrey trusted him implicitly. They had almost the same tastes. Crockett emphasized similar tastes. That's what Maxwell said. Similar taste. She opened another file, file 834, page 89, FBI analysis of Epstein's personal calendar, seized from his Manhattan residence. The analysis shows 47 scheduled meetings between Epstein and Trump. Location, Mar-a-Lago, 31, Trump Tower, 12, Epstein's Manhattan residence, 4. Date range: 2000 to 2005. There are 47 meetings with Trump in Epstein's personal calendar. Bondi tried again. Social connections, representative of that period. I'm reclaiming my time, Crockett said flatly. You're trying to talk, but I haven't asked you anything. I'm just reading the things your department published. She moved to a new page. Now, this is where it gets interesting. All these files I just read have been made available to the public. Anyone can read them. But there are other files. Files that were scheduled for release and then suddenly not released. Files from 9001 to 1247. They were originally scheduled to be released in January 2026. Subject: Trump-Epstein financial transactions. Status: classified. All files in Section 347 are gone. Files from 1248 to 1580. Initially scheduled for release in February 2026. Subject: transfer records of Mar-a-Lago victims. Status: sealed under national security classification. Crockett looked directly at Bondi. Are transfer records of victims a matter of national security? Or listen to me. Are these Trump's security issues? Bondi prepared to stand up. Representative, this is ridiculous. Sit down, Crockett said in a voice like ice. The floor is mine, and I'm not finished yet. She pulled out one more file. Let me tell you what you shouldn't do. While you are hiding files about Trump and Epstein, journalist Don Lemon was arrested 2 weeks ago for allegedly interfering with a federal investigation. He was reporting on the Epstein files. Documentary filmmaker Georgia Fort was arrested last week for unauthorized disclosure. She was interviewing survivors. But Trump, who has 38,000 references in the Epstein files and who called a human trafficking victim a good one, has not been arrested, has not been charged, has not even been questioned. Turn on notifications because tomorrow Crockett will release the full list of all blurred Trump-Epstein files. You don't want to miss this. Crockett leaned forward. So, let me state another fact. Child rapists should be prosecuted. We agree on that, right? Well then, those who enable child rapists? Those who transport victims? Those who know and do nothing? File 320. Trump met with a victim. He called her a good one. File 689. The victim was taken to Mar-a-Lago to meet Trump. File 834. Trump met with Epstein 47 times during human trafficking periods, made 73 phone calls, 38,000 references, 5,000 files. The woman stood up. Attorney General Bondi, you arrested the journalists who reported this, but you did not arrest the people in these files. Why? Bondi finally attempted to answer. Representative, investigative decisions are based on prosecutable evidence. Crockett interrupted, saying, because I am about to yield my time, and I want the records to show something now. I just read you file numbers, page numbers, and victim statements from the FBI files your department released. And you, Attorney General, have provided no explanation whatsoever as to why Trump has 38,000 references, met with human trafficking victims, characterized a person as a good one, and was never questioned. Not even once? Never. Not by your department. She took her tablet. I yield my time. Let's see if you will try to answer. Bondi sat there. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Then, Representative Crockett's descriptions are misleading and taken out of context. Which file numbers were misleading? Crockett shot back. File 320, File 689. Which FBI document did I misidentify? Give me a file number, Bondi. Crockett said shortly, without going through each one individually. You can't give one because I read them correctly. File number, page number, line number, all correct, she said and sat down. She didn't feel like trying. The hearing continued for another hour, but no one remembered anything except Crockett's files. File 320, File 689, File 834. And that single line, this is a good one. Trump's words about a human trafficking victim found in the FBI file will be remembered forever. Twitter exploded. Hashtag File 320 trended worldwide because Crockett didn't speculate, didn't create theories. She just read FBI documents with numbers. Share this video everywhere. Mainstream media won't touch this. They are too afraid of Trump's lawyers. But the files are public. The evidence is there. And Crockett put it into the congressional record. America learned 3 things today. First, Trump appears in Epstein's FBI files with 38,000 references. Not speculation, documented and very real. Second, multiple victims and witnesses placed Trump with Epstein during the human trafficking period. FBI interviews, file numbers provided. Third, the Department of Justice under Bondi locked down the most damaging files under the guise of international security. Why? Crockett's final words, "File numbers don't lie, people lie." Is she right? The files are public. Everyone can check. File 320, page 47, line 14. It's all there. One congresswoman, one tablet, dozens of file numbers, and a question Bondi couldn't answer. What did Trump do with that girl for 25 minutes? The FBI knows. The files document it, but the Attorney General won't file a case. Stay tuned because Crockett promised more file numbers tomorrow, and she is just getting started.